platforms on which you can go do this programming and other things associated with it. Deepak sir, over to you.
Thanks, ma'am. So I will start with good platform. Hello. So everybody, please mute your mics. Yeah. So I will start with Anaconda, which is a very good platform for coding Python, and I will also tell about some more platforms. I also introduced one very prominent platform developed by Google named as Colab in the last session. So Colab is fully online platform. So if you want to code on Colab, you need internet all the times. So someone from you asked me over chat that can we get one platform which is sort of offline platform, so that if we want to code when we are not online, that's also possible with Python. So I said yes, definitely we can discuss that. So there are multiple platforms or multiple SD, you can say software development kits, or sometime we say it integrated development environments, also IDEs. So there are multiple IDEs or SDKs or platforms which you can use for coding Python offline also. So one of the most prominent platform is Anaconda, and today I will start with Anaconda, how to install Anaconda on your systems. So if you want, you can install with me, or I will tell you the process. Request you to please note down the process. Please click the pics of this. I will also share my PPT today, end of the day. So definitely you will get the PPT also. So you can, if you want, you can install this Anaconda with me, but I think it will take some time. So just see the process, and after this session, you can go and download and install the Anaconda. If you have any problem, I think I'm also taking one session after this session also, so you can ask me in that session. So this Anaconda is a very nice and very useful tool. It's also open source. It's also free of cost, and it not only supports Python, but it also supports R and different languages. Apart from this Anaconda, there is one more tool developed by Microsoft named as Visual Studio. In Visual Studio, you can also code multiple languages. Python is one of them. So let's start discussing Anaconda and how to install this, how to use this, and what are the different features of this Anaconda. So again, kindly focus on these slides. Kindly take pics, because this process is a bit not very typical, a bit typical. So you request to click the photograph so that you can go through the right options when you are installing that Anaconda. So this is, as I told you, this is one of the most prominent package, and it comes bundles with 600 packages. We have discussed about packages in the last session. So packages are pre-built libraries, which is very helpful in coding. So you need not to code each and everything in Python. You can directly go to packages. You can directly call the packages or libraries, and you can use that. So that packages that 600 of beta packages are installed there in Anaconda, and that's why it's very useful. You need not to install all of them. So if you want to run Python without this Anaconda, you have to install all of them. But here in Anaconda, you need not to do that. So that's a beauty. That's a feature of Anaconda, and this is the simple process which you can use to install Anaconda. So Anaconda, I think you can now relate that that programming name is Python, and this is Anaconda, which is definitely bigger than Python if you compare that snake by snake, or अगर हम जानवरों का comparison करें, everything is anyhow the name is related to some animals. So Anaconda is definitely a bigger thing than Python, and definitely it includes multiple languages, and multiple features are there. and definitely it's a package which consists. I told you that it consists of around 600 libraries, so it's a very big package. It's around 400 500 MBs, so it will take some time to install. It will take some time to download. But just click the pic of this. You need to follow these steps. First, visit anaconda.com slash downloads. I will show you this live also. There, yeah, yeah,
So
you
Deepak
can.
sir,
Deepak sir, my point is which version we have to download? Individual, commercial, team edition, enterprise, so that we can do this kind of activities.
So individual, that will be individual. I will show you that. I will show you that live. Please wait for some time. I will show you that. Hmm?
Deepak
Sure.
sir, do we have an iOS version of this?
iOS version, yes, it's there, but again, you need to do some tweaking sort of thing over there. So I don't recommend iOS by this Anaconda for iOS because again, that's a small problem over there. Let me show you. Just give me some time. I will show you each and everything to you.
Okay.
So and then you just have to download that exe installer, and obviously I'm talking about Windows, so there will be .exe, and that exe dot that running .exe you will install the Python. I request you all to kindly mute your mic. Yeah,
Uh, there's a lot of sound in the background,
yeah.
and your voice
Please mute
is.
your mic. Uh, uh, Apashji, please mute your mic.
All the participants are requested to please mute your mic. It
It's
creates a lot of disturbance. When only when you have to ask the question, then only you unmute your mic. Otherwise, please mute your mic.
thanks, ma'am. So now this is the simple process, and you can see I've been giving you the screenshots also. You can see this going on this anaconda.com. I will also show you the live sort of usage of this. Let me. So let me stop this sharing, and I will share a different window for you all. So can you see this? Is it visible? So this is the Anaconda. This is the Anaconda website. You can see I have gone through that anaconda.com SaaS product slash individual as I told you. You can see this. This is the individual edition. Individual edition is open source. This will be the UI which you will get. They have updated it now, and here you can see that download button. Just click on download, and there are three versions of this. So you can see this Mac OS version also. So the recommendation of Mac OS version is don't go for this command line. That's the tweak I want to tell you. Just go for this graphical installer only, but because that command line will take a lot of time and lot of different tweaks to install. So you can see there is a Windows version, 64-bit is recommended,
Mhm.
457 MB as I told you, 435 MB for Mac, and 529 MB for Linux. So any
Okay.
questions?
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
So don't click this if you are using Mac. I didn't recommend command line installer to anyone because there are a lot of tweak is required, lot of different settings are required, lot of paths you need to give. So that will be definitely a problem for you.
Sure.
So and they only provide this command line installer only for Mac. So that's also a confusion over here. So just click on this 64-bit installer, and it will download. And after that, everything is same as I've shown you in the PPT. this PPT. So when you will download this, you can see I have also marked this Windows. You can see this is 3.7 version, but nowadays they are giving that 3 version 3.8. So they've upgraded it. As I told you yesterday or day before yesterday, the newest version is 3.8. Mostly used newest version is 3.9, but the most famous current version is 3.8. So just download the 3.8 version, not any other versions. And it will ask for your work email, but that's not mandatory. If you want, you can give, or otherwise you can just click on no thanks, and it will start downloading. So the version which I downloaded was of around 500 MB. But nowadays the version which now they are packaging is around 400 something, 435 or 485 MB. So definitely it will take some time for downloading. That's why I'm telling you that please note down the steps. Please go through the website and download it in the recess time or in the free time. After that, you just need to install. If you are using Windows, you can just double click the exe and this prompt will appear in front of you. So after signing on all these licensing agreements, uh, you will get these licensing elements here. Register Anaconda as my default Python 3.6 is the recommendation thing. It's a recommended option. Please note down that. Click a photograph of this. You need to select this because this is only for experts. I don't advise to go for this. And after doing all this, you will see this Anaconda navigator in the menu bar. So don't click anything else, just click Anaconda navigator and you will get this type of interface. So I think everybody is following this, everybody is clicking the pick of this because this is the thing you need to follow. So this is the thing, and there are a lot of options over there. So you can see Jupyter Lab, Jupyter, Qt Console, Spider, VS Code. This VS Code is the same thing which I am telling you, Visual Studio Code developed by Microsoft. R option of R is also there, and two different tools, Orange and Glueviz, are also there. So that's not necessary. Only this Jupyter is beneficial for us, and we will use this Jupyter notebook. So I will show you the process how to come down to that Jupyter notebook. Definitely, I will show you live on my system. Here is the launch button. When you will click this launch button, this window will appear in the browser. So please note down this. Okay, this will appear in your default browser. And when you will click this new, and then it will start, it will show you this cell. And this cell is, I think you can now see the UI. The UI is same as that Colab UI, which I have shown you day before yesterday. Do you remember? So this same, the cell thing is here. So we need to type the code here and you need to run that. So I will share my screen. I will show you the full process. How is it proceeding? And I will show you step by step process and I will show you how it's opening, where is it opening and how is it functioning. So just give me 1 minute and I will show you this. So I'm stopping this screen sharing and I will now share my whole system so that you can see this. So just give me 2 minutes. I will be so.
So Deepak ji, in this session, we will do all kind of installation portion, right? Or
No, no,
anything
no,
else?
no. I'm not giving lot of time to installation. So that's why I've shown you one platform in the last session only. So to save that time. So now you know how to use Collab, and now I will show how to use Anaconda. So I will use only a half an hour of this session or 45 minutes of this session to show you the installation on different platforms. Apart from that, we will now go back to the old session. We will see how we can use that list tuples and different type of things. How will we will go that in, we will go through the concept of Python in depth so that we can use all the commands in the next session. So that's my plan.
Sure,
So
sure.
any issues
Right.
in that?
No, no, nothing. I just want to set up the thing. Right. Thanks.
So can you see my desktop? Is my desktop visible to you all?
Yes.
Yes,
So you
yes.
can see this Anaconda navigator screen. Can you see this? I'm clicking on this. This icon will appear, or you can see in my start menu also. You can see Anaconda 64-bit, and this Anaconda navigator will be there. So I'm going to click this Anaconda navigator. I'm double clicking it. So it will show you this type of logo, and after some time, it will take some time depending upon the RAM and CPU of your system. So I recommend that please use minimum 8 GB of RAM if you want to code on this. And if you want to do something on data analysis or data analytics, try to go for a laptop with Core i7 CPU. So that's my recommendation. That's not the minimum thing required. Now you can see this. This is the screen of Anaconda Navigator. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, it is visible.
So now
Yes.
you can see there are a lot of options. There are two very important options. One is this Jupyter notebook, and one is this Spider thing. Two things are important. So just Jupyter notebook is the tool which we will use most of the time. If you want to code, if you want to teach someone, this is the best tool which is available in market. In fact, Google is also using that in their Colab. If you are a very professional developer, you want to use it offline, you don't want to use your browser to save the resources, you can use Spider. So please remember, only go for two options, either Jupyter or Spider. So now you have the three things. I told you about Colab. I told you about Jupyter. I will show the details. I will show the Jupyter in detail. I will show this Spider in detail. And there is one more thing named as VS Code that's developed by Microsoft, and this is also very good tool. So total four tools which I am telling you: Colab by Google, Jupyter Notebook by Anaconda, Spider is a separate software, and VS Code developed by Microsoft. These four tools are more than sufficient for all your coding needs. Are you noting down this? Please note this down. You don't need to explore more than four tools that will create lot of confusions. There are a lot of different tools available in market. PyCharm is there, IDLE is there, Python IDLE is there. A lot of different tools are there, but please don't explore all the tools. All your needs can be fulfilled by this Colab, Jupyter, Spider, and VS Code. You are not going to need anything more. So we can click launch anytime in this Anaconda Navigator. Just click on launch. I have clicked on launch. In fact, I think most of you have started downloading this. So after installing, you can also do that. And when you will launch, you can see I have opened that in my browser. In the next tab, I'm using Firefox as my default browser. So in the new tab, this Jupyter notebook thing is there. So it's like a browser, a file browser. It's shown that the file browser is there, and a lot of different codes which I have done. I have done around. I've written around 200 odd codes in this. So it's showing all the codes. The named code are like encoding, regression, and different thing. Something is unnamed, untitled, like this untitled 134, which we have discussed in the last session. I just clicked on that, and you can see this code. I think you remember that we have discussed this code in the last session. Do you remember that? Any issues till now?
Yes, we remember that.
So all these codes, we have used Colab to write that code, and in the same manner, we can use this Jupyter Notebook also to write the codes. The difference is that there, I think you have seen that play button was next to that cell, but here we need to click that run button, or the shortcut is Control and Enter. Please note this down. The shortcut is Control CTRL plus Enter. So CTRL and Enter you have to press simultaneously, and this will compile your code. So you can see everything we have done. Now we can do that in Jupyter Notebook also. So that's the Jupyter Notebook part. Apart from that, there is one more good option over here, which is named as Spider. Spider is a good IDE, integrated development environment, lot of different features, but it's quite slow. That's why I normally start with Jupyter, and I normally explore. I normally use Jupyter for all my sessions, because Spider is a resource hungry thing. You need at least 12 GB RAM to run Spider in a better manner. But anyway, I'm just launching it. You can see this. It will take a bit of time. Then you will also see the interface of a Spider. So that's the beauty of Anaconda. It comes with a lot of different options. Just give me 2 minutes. It's starting. Is it visible to you all? It's taking a lot of time. Have you seen that? And now this interface will appear. So I've used this also for a lot of my coding. I've coded something for COVID-19. I've coded some AI tech, AI algorithms over there. But again, slightly slow. But options are very good. Lot of different debugging options are there. A lot of different visualizations options. A lot of different UI tweaking options are there. But anyway, if you have a good amount of RAM, for example, 16 GB of RAM with a core i7 CPU, then only use Spider. Otherwise, try to not use it, because yeah, it's good, but again, resource hungry. That's the issue. I'm closing this Spider because again, it will consume a lot of RAM. And the next thing which I am showing is very important. Please pay attention and please click the photographs. That's a very important thing. So I told you that there are a lot of different packages in Python. So there are around 6,000 packages available online. More than that. That's I'm quoting only the packages which are registered. So a lot of different packages are which are on GitHub and not registered on Python website. So how to and this Anaconda only consists of around 600 packages. So how to install different packages if you want to work on AI thing, on machine learning thing. For example, there is a package named as TensorFlow, TensorFlow. Have you heard about it? Anyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
So TensorFlow is a very good package if you want to go for deep learning. So there is a branch of machine learning. There is a extended branch of machine learning named as deep learning. So my PhD is basically in AI and neural networks, and that's related to deep learning. So if you want to use that deep learning thing, you need to install more packages which are relevant for that. So how to install packages in Anaconda? That's also an issue. So just see, this is the interface of Anaconda. I think it's visible to you all. And in the left hand side, there is a menu: home, environment, learning, and community. Can you see this? Is it visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to environments. I'm not discussing about the environments. Environments is altogether a very good thing in Python, but that's a little bit complex. So I'm not discussing about environments, but I'm discussing about how to install different packages. So
I'm
you can
sorry,
see.
Deepak sir, sorry to interrupt. I have installed the Anaconda, but after clicking this Anaconda Navigator, it's nothing is opening. I clicked 4 times. Do I need to some sort of settings or some environment setting, or do I need to do that?
No, no, you need not to do that. You need to restart your system.
Okay, okay.
I think it
Because
takes some time. You'll have to wait for a while.
yeah, so that's what I'm
For
saying.
the
If you have
first time,
clicked
it
it
takes time.
yeah,
Okay,
if you
okay.
have clicked 4 times and it's not opening, please wait. It's already trying to run. Now you have to restart your system and only click single time, and then you have to wait for 5 minutes or 4 5 minutes. Then it will start. Ah,
Right, sir,
so
right.
you can see this. These all the packages are listed here. There is a drop down menu. All the packages are listed here. Whichever package you want to install, you can just search the package. For example, TensorFlow. You can see. So this package, TensorFlow packages, for example, the tick one, I have installed Keras, so it's ticked here. Keras GPU is ticked here. So I went to install this R TensorFlow. It's not ticked. TensorFlow Eigen is not ticked. So if you want to install, just click on this box and it will be installed. Hello.
Excuse me, sir. Kindly increase the zoom size.
So it will not work on this because I'm not using a browser.
Okay.
Let me see if there is any other option. Just give me to some time. Just give me some time. Just give me. No, it will. I don't think it will. It will because I'm sharing my desktop and there is not any way to increase the. Let me just give me 2 minutes more. Can you see this? Is my magnifier visible to you all? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Magnifier is visible.
Magnifier is not visible actually.
Yes.
Magnifier is visible, but it is not showing the magnifying contents actually.
Yeah, yeah. It is only the a black
The
box.
black box.
So I think that's the limitation of the sharing thing.
Okay.
So it's very tough to.
Sir, have you shared the desktop? Or
Yeah, I have shared that desktop.
okay, okay.
On mobile, we can zoom it.
Okay. Everyone
Okay.
is not on mobile.
Now it's stuck.
No issues, sir. Just please continue. We'll try to understand. Because of nothing is visible, just small words or characters.
Then magnifier is also. Mhm. Now a different problem arises now that magnifier is not switching off.
What happened, Deepak sir?
That magnifier is stuck. Now it's not switching off.
Of your whiteboard?
No, this
No, from
magnifier.
the Jupyter notebook.
Okay, so nothing is visible to me.
So just give me 1 minute. I'm
Okay,
trying to
okay.
search the solution for it. Yeah. So let me show you the screen again. Yeah. So I don't have any options to increase that. Sorry for that thing. But I think you can see the drop down. Is the drop down visible? Yeah, it's definitely very small.
Sir, it
But
is not visible.
the
You can
drop down
read
is not.
out. It is not visible. You can read out, I guess.
Still, it's black box listed over here. Once you select the drop down, only black box is appearing.
Okay. So
So you can
there are
read out the options, sir.
yeah, there are different options like installed packages, not installed packages, updatable packages, selected and all. So I've selected that all packages. And after selecting this all packages, it will show all the listed packages of Anaconda. You can see a lot of packages are there. And if you want to install any package, you just need to go there. Go in the search box. I'm searching for stats. You can see a lot of package related to stats is there. You can select any package, and after selecting, in the top, in the bottom right corner, there is a apply button. So after selecting and this selecting that apply button, you can install all the packages. You can install any packages which you want. Apart from that, there are several other options also to install the packages, which I will show you. There are some shortcuts of that, which I will show you. So that's about installing the packages. I will not go in depth of, I will not show each and every package how to install, but definitely I will show you a shortcut to install the package. So can you see my Jupyter notebook again? Is it visible? Now I've zoomed it also.
So the
Yes, it
notebook
is.
is,
It's gone now.
Now, can you see this?
yes, now
Yeah.
we can see.
Yeah,
So
we can see.
you can see this Jupyter notebook screen. In the right hand side, can you see this new window, new button?
Yes.
This new button, when I will click this new button, it will ask which Python notebook to open. I've only installed Python 3. If you have Python 2, it will ask you either open Python 3 notebook or Python 2 notebook. I'm opening a Python 3 notebook. And this will be the screen which you will get. It consists of cell. It consists of different options, and in this cell you can do all the coding. For example, I think we have done this. Just a small calculation. You can see the answer. We have also done this. How to calculate. We have also done this. A equal to 34 minus 23. I think you remember, and you can see all the answers we are getting. We didn't got the answer because we haven't printed.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you repeat the last 1 minute?
What?
So what I have told
How
is
to get this
just
window? How to get this window? Yeah, from here.
from here you can see this new thing in the corner, in the right corner, new button. Is it visible to you? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So in that drop down, you can see this Python thing, Python 3. You need to click that Python 3 and it will be opened like this. Can you
Yeah,
see
we got
this?
it.
Let me do this again. I don't need to open everything here. So I'm telling that we have discussed that a equal to 34 minus 23. We have done in this last session. And to display, I'm showing this a to you. You can see answer is there. And lot of things we have done. For example, 9 divided by 2, a different answer will be there. If you want to use that, yeah. Can you see this? So you can do all these things. If you want to run using a shortcut, the shortcut is Control plus Enter. So here, for example, I'm last time we have used this z equal to 3.14. If I want to run this code, I need to press Control or Enter. The answer is in front of you. So, and I also told you in the last session that if you want to show two things, you can't see it by just typing the name of the variable. You will see only the last one. If you want to see both of them, you need to use this print command. Now both will be printed. I think this is easy, and now everyone can move to Jupyter Notebook instead of using Colab. So we can do all the things which we have done on Colab on Jupyter Notebook also. Is it fine? Then, for example, last time we have done this calculation. A small code, we have started with a little bit tough code to understand the nitty-gritties of Python. What are the different options over there? How can we write a small code? How can we print? How can we use if statement? And what are the significance of this white spaces? Do everybody remember? Everybody on the same page? Hello. And everybody started
Yes, sir.
downloading.
Yes.
Everybody who is using laptop or desktop, I think, try to start downloading the Python, downloading Anaconda, so that till next session you can download, you can try to install it, and if you face any problems, we can discuss it. We can sort that out. So that's about Jupyter Notebook. Same thing you can do same programming you can do using Spider and Visual Studio Code, VS Code. Both are very good tools, but if you want to teach someone, if you want to display your code, if you want to break your code into small cells, the best tool is Jupyter Notebook, which is in front of you. In Jupyter Notebook, you can also write different text. For example, in the top, you can see a lot of options are there. I will show you all the options, but here currently this option is very important. You can see in the drop down, this drop down where code is written. Everybody can see this. In the drop down, you can use Markdown. This Markdown thing is a text thing. This will be treated as a text and will not be compiled. So this is a text. If you mark it as Markdown, this is a text. This will not be compiled, so you can see in the front of that run button is removed. So you can write text, you can write, this is now also text, you can write code, you can write text, you can write headings, and you can do everything. So it's just like editor, any Word type of editor. So lot of different, that's why it's named as notebook by the Jupyter Notebook. So, for example, if you want to teach someone what are the different utilities in Python, you can just write small notes, and under the notes you can write code also. So that notes will be not compiled, but this code will be compiled. So that's the use of Jupyter Notebook. Apart from that, here is a plus sign. I think you can see this plus sign. Everybody can see this. So for example, if I want to if I want to add a new cell, I need to press this plus sign over there. This is the plus sign, and here you can write your new part of the code, or maybe full-fledged new code. Apart from that, you can you can open a Python program also here. So that's also a feature. So any .py file you can use, you can open. So if you get any py file or .python file online, you can definitely call in Jupyter Notebook and compile it. That's also a feature given over there. You can save your code. You can see this save option is there. You can save your code. Obviously, that should be there. You can make a copy of your code. You can download your code as Python program or IPYNB file. So when you will go and see on the internet, specifically on GitHub type of tools, you will see that lot of IPYNB files are there. In fact, I will also share a IPYNB file of this notebook so that you can go when you want to practice, you can compile all these things. So that IPYNB file is an extension of Jupyter Notebook. Please note it, IPYNB. That's the specific extension. IPY means Python, notebook is NB. So IPYNB file is the extension, and that's a de facto standard nowadays. So everybody is using that. So you can use that as a standard. You can download this, you can send this, and you can distribute your code if you want. So that's the feature available over there. One thing I told you that I will also show you how to install extension using shortcuts. So just please focus on this. Till now everything is clear or not? Any confusions? I need answers, please. Anyone? Any confusions? Am I audible?
No, sir, no confusion.
Okay, then thanks. So now you can see I've added a new shell over here, and I want to install a package. For example, take a package like NumPy. NumPy is a very famous package, NUMPY. To install NumPy, there is a shortcut, there is a command. So I need to start this command with exclamation mark. After that, pip. After that, write install, and then name of the package. So this package is already on my system, so it may give an error, but even then you will understand. I think you can see how to run a command also in the shell. This is, you can see the answer is requirement already satisfied because I already have NumPy in my system. So using this command, you can install any package in your Python library in the Jupyter Notebook or in the Anaconda. So can you see this? If you want, you can click a picture of this. So here, name of the package will be there. So this is the format of the command. Name of the package without any gaps. Can you see this? So that's the format to install a package using shortcut. So now you need not to go in Jupyter Notebook, in Anaconda interface, and you need not to search, and you need not to tick boxes and all the things. You just type the command, and the package will be installed. So now this is all about installation. So I told you about how to install Anaconda. I told you about how to use Anaconda. specifically for Jupyter Notebook, for the base of Jupyter Notebook. I also have given a small glimpse of Spider. Spider is an IDE, Integrated Development Environment, very good, but resource hungry. You can use VS Code, Visual Studio Code also, same like Spider, again resource hungry thing. And this is, I think, the easiest thing to use is Jupyter Notebook. And I also, in the last session, I have showed you the use of Colab. That Colab thing of Google and this Jupyter Notebook is more or less same thing with the same UI and with the same utilities. So that's all about installation. I'm not going to give any extra time on installation. I'm just going to proceed with the concepts of Python, so that in the next session we can see how to use this Python for data sciences. Is it fine for everybody? Any questions or any suggestions or any recommendations, or if you want to change something, I can definitely do that.
Sir, I have a question. This is Gaurav Mishra from Amity, Greater Noida.
Gaurav-ji.
Sorry, sir, I have just little question. Is there any shortcut to insert a new cell on this page, or I have to click on that plus button every time?
No. There are different shortcuts. There is a shortcut Control plus, I think. Control A. Let me see. Control and A. No. So my memory is just give me some time. So whenever you compile this, it always create a new cell in the bottom in the second part of that thing. But yes, there is a shortcut to add a new cell.
I think it is Shift plus Enter.
Shift Enter or Shift. Yeah, let me check. I just. Yeah. That's not Shift Enter. Just give me 2 minutes. I have my notes ready with me.
Enter is working.
Shift plus Enter is working. Okay, then that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, nahi. Escape. Acha, yeah, I remember. Press escape. So you can, if you click this, you can see a red line over, green line over in the corner. Can you see this? That's green line. If you press escape, that green line will be converted to blue one. Can you see this?
Yes.
After that, if you press A, a cell will be created in the top of that, just above that cell which you are using. And if you press B, then the cell will be created in the below side of that thing, below that specific cell. Can you see this?
Yes.
So that's the command specifically. Escape and then A or B. Is it fine now?
Sir,
Yes, very much.
Yes, sir, it's working, sir.
So escape, after escape, you can use this A or B. So that's the simplest thing you can do. And there are a lot of other options also after pressing escape. You can do a lot of different things. There are a lot of different shortcuts. So I think I will show you all the shortcuts specifically. Or maybe I will send you the detailed list of shortcuts, because that's very tough to explain all the shortcuts over here. In fact, there are shortcuts to delete the cell. For example, if you want to delete this cell, you can press escape and press double D. You can see this is deleted. Double D will delete the cell. Sorry, escape. Double D only after escape. You can see now I have deleted this cell. So that's also a very useful shortcut. So a lot of different shortcuts are there. So maybe I will send you send you a list of these shortcuts.
Deepak sir?
Yeah.
Will you cover some TensorFlow exercises?
Maybe in the next session, but TensorFlow itself is a big topic.
Yes,
To
yes.
explain, yeah, to cover that TensorFlow thing, I need to explain about tensors, and tensors is a deep mathematical topic.
Okay.
So yes, it's very difficult thing to explain TensorFlow in 3 or 4 or 5 hours. But definitely, I will show you the use of TensorFlow, how I am using it, where to use it, and what's the different command. Oh, I will show you that. But
Okay.
it's very tough to explain. It's very tough to teach TensorFlow in
Yes.
such a short duration.
I understand, sir.
So I think that's we now we know the shortcuts. So let's proceed. So any other questions or suggestions till now, till Jupyter, till installation, or
Sir, Jupyter is the good one. Is it, sir?
yeah, best one. If you
ID,
are
what
academic
ID?
field, best one is Jupyter. Yeah, any
Okay.
questions? So the second best one, if you want to ask that what if I am a professional coder, then for that you need to go for Visual Studio Code. That's also a very good idea. But don't explore so much. Don't explore all the IDEs, because that will be again create a lot of confusions. For example, I normally use VS Code, so I now I remember all the commands of VS Code and I forgot all the commands of Jupyter Notebook. तो ये बहुत होता है कि आप एक बार VS Code शुरू करना स्टार्ट कर दीजिए तो इसके शॉर्टकट्स भूल गए हम. So that's happens a lot. So try to focus on only one IDE. Try to focus on Jupyter. So you will remember all the shortcuts. You will remember all the processes, and that will be easy for you. So now let's proceed. Now let's continue the topic which we were discussing in the last session. And now I will use Jupyter Notebook for all these or for all those details, so that you can understand Jupyter Notebook also in depth, how it's functioning, how it's working. And in parallel, you will learn a lot about Python also. So that's my plan for next half an hour. Any issues related to that? So let's switch on to the PPT, and please everybody, please start your collab. Now we need to code. We need to start coding using collab, and we will continue exactly where we were in the last session. We will continue from there, and we will discuss. First of all, we will try to complete the topic of we'll try to complete the topic of list and tuples, which we were discussing. And after that, we will proceed to different loops, if else, for, and different type of loops. Let me share my PPT. So do you remember this thing?
Yes, sir.
So we have the last session we have discussed tuples. I think you all have used this command tu equal to 23 ABC 4.56 and this all. We have discussed list. We have discussed string. We have discussed that tuples specifically we will use when we need to create immutable things. We need to create immutable objects. Immutable, I will show you why this is immutable and what's the difference between immutable and mutable. So tuples and strings are immutable, so we can't change that. We can't edit the original ones. Lists are mutable, so we can edit the original list also. We can add and delete items into that. And we have created that tuples tu equal to a small bracket. So tuples will always start with this small bracket. If everyone remember, we haven't discussed that, but I've shown you this. This is the representation of tuple. If you want to create list, we need to use square brackets. And for strings, that's quotes. Double quote or single quote will also work. We have discussed that. So all these things are objects in the terms of Python, because Python is an object-oriented language. So a lot of different features are there, but one feature is that everything is treated as an object. And we have also discussed, we have created this T thing, I think T or TU. We have also discussed the positive indexes. We have also discussed the negative indexes. We have discussed how to call any element. I think you all remember. Everybody,
Yes, sir.
remember that?
Yes, sir.
We haven't discussed this thing, how to call. I think we have discussed this also. How
Yes,
to call
sir. Slicing list.
Yes, we have discussed this also.
Yeah, I think we have discussed.
Yes,
So
sir.
this will call 3 elements, not 4. So it will start from 1 to 3.
Yes.
This will also discuss
Yes,
call
sir.
3 elements, because we are starting from positive 1, this to minus 1, this. So these 3 elements will be there. Minus 1 will be neglected. So this and this will be there. Apart from that, I think we haven't discussed this. So if you want to call 2 elements starting from, so you need not to write this 0 thing over there. For starting, that 0 is automatically assumed. So you can just write colon and 2. It will call the initial 2 elements. That's also a very useful shortcut in Python. If you want to call the elements, every element after the second element, you can also use this 2 colon something. So that's also possible. I request you all to kindly try this on your system. That's a recommendation. We have used TU, so you have to use this TU thing over there, or maybe you can start with T. So try to write on Colab, Google Colab. Are you trying this, everybody?
Yes, sir.
I will just wait for a minute or 30 seconds maybe. Have you done this?
Done, sir.
Everybody getting the answers? So now let's proceed. So if you want to make a copy of that entire sequence, because again, that tuple is not mutable, you can't change that. So most of the time we create a copy of that. So creating a copy can be done using this. So you just need to write a colon and that copy will be created. All the elements will be copied into this. So for example, if you want to copy this into A equal to, just write A equal to T or maybe TU and in bracket colon. So it will copy all the items into this new thing, which is a new object or new tuple A. Apart from that, there is a very nifty tool given in Python. You can compare, you can test whether there is a value inside a container or not. So for example, this is a container or this is a specific tuple, or you can see this is a list. I'm talking about container because container is list and tuple both. This is an object. If you want to ask, is there 3 in T? So this consists of 1, 2, 4 and 5. So 3 is not there, so it will tell false. So this is a simple statement. 3 in T, 4 in T, 4 not in T. So it will answer accordingly. So that's a very, very beautiful thing. So if you want to search something or if you want to write an algorithm related to search, you just need to use these commands. So you can write this, or you can for example, you can use. So we have used this. So if you want, so for example, or you can write, you can use this. So you have used this T equal to this. For example, if you write 23 in T, so it will give you answer true. If you write 32 in T, it will give you answer false. So this type of statements are also applicable on list and tuples both. So please remember list and tuple both, not only one. Apart from that, you can use
Sir,
mathematical
how to check the string in this case? Do we need to mention the single quote or it's directly
single quote? You can see this. This written over there. In string, you need always remember, if you want to write any character or string, if you want to write any text, you need to use that single quote or double quote. So that this is a string A equal to ABCDE. If there is C in A, it will write true. If there is a CD in A, it will write true. If there is an AC in A, it will write false, because AC is not a continuous thing. AC in quotes, which means it should be a continuous AC thing over there. So that's related to string also. So and we have discussed this. You can add, you can use mathematical operators on string. Can you see this? We have done that hello plus world. Now here we are doing hello plus a space plus world. So you will get this hello world. So it means that we can use this operator. You can use mathematical operators on list, tuples, and string. So this is an tuple because small brackets are there. It will combine the tuple. You can see this. This is a list because square brackets are there, and it will combine the list. So it's combining, it's not adding, it's not adding element wise, it's combining. Can you see this? That's the difference. So if you want to add element wise, there is a different process for that. Here we are trying to combine only. We are trying to concatenate only. So it's concatenating two different tuples or two different lists. This is an important thing. Please try it. Are you all trying this? This is an hands-on session, so I think everybody needs to do all these things hands-on. You can do that on Google Colab. Best tool if you have, or if you are online.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Hello. Sir, yesterday you told that tuple is immutable.
I will show the examples today.
So, sir, here we are joining the two tuples.
So we are not changing any element of any tuple. You can see this element is not changed. We are trying to form a new tuple. So if this tuple is T1, if this tuple is T2, we are not changing either T1 or T2. We are just creating a third tuple named as T3. So this will be T3. It's not T1, it's not T2. So we are not changing anything. We are just trying to add two things.
Okay.
I will show you the example of that immutable thing. That's a very important concept, so you need to discuss that.
Okay.
So you can also use different mathematical operators like multiplication. So this tuple multiplied by 3 equal to, it will be repeated 3 times. This list multiplied by 3 again repeated 3 times. This hello multiplied by 3 again repeated 3 times. So if you want to replicate anything, you can just use that mathematical operator. So are you all trying this? May I proceed, or may I wait for some minutes, some seconds?
Just hold on for a little.
Okay. So I will drink some water in this break.
Sure. Please do.
So can we proceed?
Yes, we are fine. I'm fine. Thank you.
Now, as I told you, I will show you about mutability thing. So let's see how can we check is this list mutable or is this tuple mutable or not. So I will try to mutate or I will try to change and it will show you errors if it's not mutable. So here I've created a list li of ABC 23, 4.3, 4 and 23. Just try to create that. And so just try to go with me. Just try to type these things with me so that you can see what's going on. So this is a list li, obviously a list because it's just in a square brackets. And if you want to change this value is li1. I think everybody knows that now. So if you want to change this li1, just type this command li1 equal to 45 and it will replace that second value 23 with 45. If you will print that list, this will be the new list. It's changed. So now this li is only updated and this is the new li. This is the new list ABC 45, 4.34 and 23.
Can you please explain again that li,
Yeah, sure.
how 45 is coming?
So this is a li. Leave that. First start with this line. I'm creating a list named as li. Li equal to this is the list. It consists of 4 elements. Okay.
Right.
Now I want to change that second element. So how do we denote this second element? Second element means li in bracket 1. I think everybody remember this.
Yes.
So if you want to get the second element, you need to type this command. Now, if you want to change that second element, I want to use an assignment operator. Equal to is an assignment operator. Double equal to is a comparator. We are using assignment. So we are assigning this element as 45. You can see here. So now this is changing this element, this second element with a value of 45. Can you see this? And when you will print this list li, it will give you this value. So the new list, it's not the new list. Sorry for my words. It's the old list, updated list with a second value updated as 45. And which will be in the same memory location, same memory reference as the original. So we are just replacing that specific value. We are not replacing the whole list. We are just updating that list and we are replacing a specific object, a specific element of that list. Am I clear?
I'm not able to get that actually.
So which part?
It is showing us an error. Just 1 minute. Is there a problem in the syntax? Let me see. Okay.
So don't write this in the second line. Write this here only. That's just because second line, because of that PPT thing. Write this 23 here only. So maybe that was the syntax error which you are getting.
Yeah. Okay. And then a line, I have to say. Yes, I've got it. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So you can see we have replaced that thing, and that's li is same, and the memory location is same. So that's mutable. Means we are editing that. That's mutable. We can edit the list. It proves that list is mutable.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's do the same thing with tuple. Let's do the same thing with tuple. Now define this tuple. It's already with you, I think.
Yes.
Try to do the same thing with tuple. T2 is equal to 3.14. I'm trying to change this value.
It's not doing it.
Exactly, because you are getting an error because tuples are immutable. You can't change tuples. So why this thing has been done? ऐसी चीज क्यों बनाई जिसको चेंज नहीं कर सकते हैं? Because if you can't edit, अगर आपको editing rights नहीं देनी है, then it's faster. So tuple are much faster than list because editing rights are not there. So storage it's stored in the memory in a different format and it's much faster. It's stored in a compressed format because you don't want to edit that, don't need to edit that, you can't edit that, and that's why tuples are much faster than list. So please remember this. If you don't want to change a thing, if you don't want to change an object, if you want to change it as it is, and if you want a faster code, then use tuples. If you want to create a variable which you need to change, then you need to create that list. That's the difference. So for example, if you have dependent variables, I think everybody has gone through the concept of data sciences. So if you have dependent variables and you want to create something, and because definitely you don't need to change that dependent variables, then you need to create tuples for that, and it will be much faster to work on that. The code will be much faster. So what if in any case you need, agar kuch urgent ho jaye and you extremely need to change that tuple, then you need to create a new tuple, and then you can make a fresh tuple and then assign the references. So that you can do. Here we are creating a new tuple all again. So I think you now understand the difference between list and tuple, and now why they are immutable and what's the importance of immutability.
Right, absolutely. Sure.
Okay. And that's a very important concept in Python. This immutable and mutable thing is a very important concept. So there are different operations which are possible on list, because lists are mutable. You can append list with a, for example, there is a 1, 11, 3, 4, 5, and you want to add a new element. Append command is there. Insert command is there. So append will append that thing into the last. In insert, you can give this location also. Just click the pick of this, because these commands are, I think, very easy one. Don't practice, just click the picture. You can practice afterwards. This list can be extended. Obviously, they are mutable, so just you can extend it by any number of element. Append is also there. Extension is also there. You can count the values of number of occurrences of any values. You can remove the first occurrence. All these things are possible. Just click the pick of all these things. Don't practice, just click a picture. You can practice afterwards. I will share the PPT. I will share the whole PPT with you. You can go and practice it. So all these options are possible on list, not on tuples, because we can't change the tuples. You can reverse the list. That's also possible. You can do sorting on the list. Sorting is a very important thing. I think everybody knows. You can do sorting. You can use some user-defined functions for sorting. For example, different type of sorts are there, bubble sort and different sort. So you can use different sorting mechanism also there. So this sorting is important, specifically in data sciences, because many times we need to see which product is selling faster than another product. So their sorting is used.
Sir?
Yeah, please.
So can we create a tuple inside a list?
Yeah, that's a possibility. List inside tuple is possibility. Tuple inside list is also possibility. But again, that will be a confusing thing. So and that's not very much required. ऐसा बहुत instances नहीं आते हैं जब आपको ये करना पड़ता है, but that can be done. List of list is also possible. List of tuple is also possible. ये सारे options और permutation combinations are there. But imagine the utility, and you will not find a lot of utilities for that. List of list तो कई बार required होती हैं for dictionary type of thing, but not other options. So summary is list are slower but more powerful because we have lot of options. List can be modified, lot of operations are there, tuples are immutable and very fewer features but faster than this. You can also convert one list from tuple and tuple from list. ये दोनों possibility are also there. So li equal to list of, this list is the command. If you want to change that tu thing, आपको याद होगा हम लोगों ने tu create किया था. तो tu को अगर आपको list में convert करना है, you can just use this command list. List tu will be li, so new list. So tuple is converted into list, and this here list is converted into tuple. Got that? तो ये भी possibility है. So now go through this. Let's go through this repetitions. It means loops and selections. So जो if else or loops के जो importance होती है, they are very important in data sciences. So let's go through this. In this session मैं पूरा detail नहीं cover कर पाऊंगा because we don't have so much time left. So we will discuss one or two loops or selections. And in the next session, we will extend this thing and we will also discuss a lot of new libraries in the next session. So let's start with the simplest loop, which is for loop. And I think हम लोगों ने एक if loop discuss किया था in the first programming. So this is the syntax. If you want, you can just note down. मैंने आपको बताया था कि किसी भी loop के last में colon लगाना जरूरी होता है. Or in the next statement of any loop is 4 spaces ahead from this thing. तो यहाँ जहाँ से for start हो रहा है वहाँ से 4 spaces आगे से start होगा. 4 white spaces. Don't use tab. Tab में confusion होती है. Tab use करके भी चलता है कई बार, but don't use tab. That's not recommended. So for variable name in group of variables, you can just write any statement over here. For example, इसको आप लोग करके देख सकते हैं. Thing is needed there. So for x in range 1,6, print x squared is x into x. Please do this. तो आपको for loop का process समझ में आ जाएगा. यहाँ पे 4 white spaces are there. Please remember. ये मैं पिछली बार भी बताया था, अभी भी बता रहा हूँ. Are you all doing that?
Yes, we are trying. We will try. For x in range 1,6, x in range 1,6. 6.
Deepak ji, what needs to be done if we have more than one line in below? Like grouping? Achha, okay.
You can write different statements here. कोई भी statement जो यहाँ पे लिखना है, you need to write after 4 spaces. So we have discussed that block thing, block word हमने use किया था. Do you remember in the first session?
That's right. That's right.
तो जो भी इसके अंदर 4 spaces के बाद आएगा, Python will consider it as a block. वो block के साथ उसको consider करेगा. तो you can write multiple statements, statement 1, statement 2, but everything will be written after 4 white spaces. ये necessary है. अगर आप यहाँ से start करेंगे, if you will start from this point, it will consider कि आपका for loop खत्म हो गया है. And that's the beauty of Python. ये बहुत efficient है Python में, because you need not to do that curly, give that curly braces कि कहाँ से आपका for loop start हो रहा है और कहाँ से end हो रहा है. Just use this column and start after that using this four white spaces. Did you got that?
Yeah, we
Excuse
got it.
me, sir.
Yeah.
It is not going up to 6, right? It is not doing the 6 for the 6.
No,
actually.
ये मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया था कि anything this second will be not equal to, less than तक ही run करेगा. It's not less than equal to, it's only less than that. Yeah, any other questions? Yeah, somebody is asking a question.
No, sir, my doubt is clear.
Okay, that's great. So that's for loop, and that for loop is also used with a range. तो यहाँ पे जैसे हम लोगों ने जो range 1,6 दिया है, इस range का increment you can also decide. So you can also decide the step of that range. So this is starting point, this is ending point, but step is not finalized. So Python already assume that step is 1. ये भी तो हो सकता था कि 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5 ऐसे चले. But Python assume that it will be an integer. But if you want to provide a step, that's also possible. So for example, this 5, 0, -1. Can you see this? यहाँ पे सब जगह ब्रैकेट होगा. हाँ. So it will go from 5 till 0. 5 will be the starting point of the range. 0 will be the ending point, and the decrement will be -1. Can you see this? It will print x, and this print is different from this loop. वो इस block के बाहर है, because we are starting it from the starting point. So this is a different thing. That's not required यार, ये कहाँ? So are you trying this?
Yes.
Please do that.
Oops. Your screen is.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. I think. It's come.
Okay. Let me check.
It is better.
So can you please explain the range wala concept, that 0 and -1?
Sure. I can. I will definitely. So here we have given a range. Can you see this? From 1 to 6.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
That range is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not 6, because equal to is not there, less than is there. So it will start from 1 and it will go to 5. And Python assumed that, this is the important point, Python assumed that the increment is 1. But मान लीजिए आपको करना था 1 का भी स्क्वायर करे, 1.5 का भी करे, 2 का भी करे, 2.5 का भी करे, so and so forth. If you want that increment is 0.5, increment 1 करना हो, 0.5 का हो, तब आप क्या करेंगे? So for that step thing is there in the range. So this is the syntax of range. Range के अंदर you can give a starting point, you can give a stopping point, and you can give a step. So this is the starting point, this is the ending point, and this is the step. The step is -1. So you start from 5, go till 0, and the increment is -1. Did you got that? So the output is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can also think the increment is -0.5. ये भी आप try करके देख सकते हैं. और अगर इसको 6 या 6, ठीक है, -0.5 करके देख लीजिए, कोई इशू. अगर आप इसको 6 करते हैं तो इसको -2 करके देख सकते हैं. That's also a possibility. The last print blast off is not inside the loop, it's outside the loop. Can you see that? अब इसको inside the loop करके भी एक बार देखिएगा what will happen. इस लाइन को 4 स्पेसेस आगे बढ़ा के try to run that. इस प्रिंट के साथ इसके ठीक नीचे रन करके देखिए what will happen. You will see what's the difference between outside of the loop, inside of the loop. ये आपको दिख जाएगा.
Yes, sir. It's blast off is coming after every number.
Exactly. तो वो loop के अंदर repeat हो रहा है. Every time blast off. So 5 times blast off will be there. अगर आप पहले करेंगे तो only 1 time will be there because that's not in the loop. So in the loop and outside the loop, that's two different things. सिर्फ इतने से चेंज हो जाता है कि आपने कितने white spaces लगाए. That's why white spaces is very important Python में. पूरा कोड का प्रोसेस या फिर पूरा आउटपुट ही चेंज हो जाता है because of that white.
Deepak sir, I just did one thing. For x in range 1,6, and then next line x is equal to x plus 5, and then in next line print x equal x squared is x into x, right? In between these two, I just mentioned that x is equal to x plus 5. So every time the loop has to add 5 in the character, na? Instead of how it works actually, because that is not happening in the first loop. It is adding 5, and then the square root is happening actually. Did you get what I'm saying?
No,
here.
Sorry. I didn't.
So for x in range 1,6 colon, and in below line, just below to this line, I added x equal to x plus 5. Here x equal to x plus 5. Now what will happen? Ideally 5 should be added in each and every x value, which is like first is 5, and then next one is 2 plus 5 7, and then third one is 3 plus 5 8, kind of thing. It should happen in this way, na?
Yeah, exactly. So it definitely it will go in that way, but you just need to check the white spaces thing. You need to check either you are writing it in a right format or not. ये एक बार ध्यान दीजिएगा.
Yeah. One. I mean, I mentioned 3 spaces actually. Okay.
Syntax need to be correct. So there's one more thing. जैसे अभी आपने बात की, there may be a situation कि we need to start again and again with a specific number. So some loops need to calculate a value which is initialized outside the loop. So here initial value, the sum is 0, and now we need to do a different function inside the loop. So यहाँ से और वहाँ में अंतर ये है कि यहाँ पे हम लोग इंटरनल ही सारा फंक्शन कर रहे थे. That x is initialized here and working inside the loop, but here you can initialize the value outside the loop also. So for example, we are initializing sum equal to 0. Phi I in range 1 to 11, sum equal to sum plus this. What you are doing exactly? I think I haven't seen the name. I think Tapas ji is doing this. So yeah. For that you need to start with initializing the value. Here I'm initializing sum equal to 0. You can initialize x equal to 0 if you want. And using this format, you can sum plus anything you want. And now after that you can print. So here the print is outside the loop. That's why it's printing only last answer. You can see this. So this thing and this thing go hands in hand. Initializing in the beginning and printing at the end. That's simple. Did you got that? I haven't changed anything. I have just initialized the value. So there also you can initialize your x which is equal to 0. So what I am saying, you can initialize any value before the loop. So यहाँ पे print is in the end. You can see this. And this will be your output. Please try to do that. And after this, in the next session, we will do if loop. So
Yes, I was about to say after this, let's take a break and then continue in the next session.
Exactly, I will take a break after this.
Right.
So everybody, please do this. Try to click a picture of this and try to practice this. Try to practice all the codes, and we will meet in next session. I think it will start from 2:30, I think. So in that 2:30 to 4 session, we will see how to work with different loops. We will complete the concept of loops, and then we will move to the concepts of libraries, how to use different libraries also. Okay, so in between, try to install Anaconda so that we can discuss what are the issues which is coming in the installation. So thanks for attending the last session, and we will meet again at 2:30. Thank you. Thanks all.
Okay, sir. So, participants, let's take a break. We'll meet at 2:30 again.
Will we have a different link for the next session?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yes, sir. We will have a different link.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Thanks.